Hello everybody, I'm Rodney Dean, and I'm really excited today to start my first video on how to get started in voiceover. I'm a voice actor for over 15 years now, and I'd like to start by talking about microphones. But I'd like to preface this with, who this is for. This is for somebody who's just getting started in the voiceover business, who maybe you've been watching shows and movies and commercials, and you're going, "Hey, that person behind the mic, I can do that." Or somebody's told you have a great voice, or you do character voices, and you're doing goofy messages on your smartphone, and you'd like to take it a little further. Well, that's who this is for. So I'm going to talk about microphones. So let's get started. All right. So the big myth out there is that to get into voiceover, you have to have expensive equipment, an agent, kick-ass studio, and that. Not true at all. As a matter of fact, when I got started back over 15 years ago, right, all you needed was a cheap microphone and a computer and some software to run it. And still, in a lot of ways, that's all you need today. So I'll share with you when I first got started. My first microphone, I don't have it anymore. It was a realistic phone from Radio Shack, $16.99, and when it broke, I evolved into this going to Future Shop, which is now Best Buy, I believe, and $24.97 got me a Natty Pro mic, and you had a cable plugged into it. And then you had a plug that looked like that. Well, my computer didn't have a plug like that. So you had to buy a little adapter plug, and it did have one of these little plugs. And then I had a sound card. It was a Sound Blaster sound card. And I got some free software. It was called Creative Wave software. And that's all I needed to get started in the voiceover business. And as a matter of fact, this mic with this plug, they had a site which is still out there. It's called Voice123, and it's a forum for voice actors, aspiring people to get into voiceover, to do demos and to get discovered by people looking for people who did voiceover. And a bank down in the States, agency hired me to do a Donald Trump voice, which I did back then. I know everybody's doing Donald Trump now, but I was doing it back then, and they said, "Hey, we heard a sample of yours of Donald Trump, and we'd like to use you." Well, here's a clip of that commercial.
My operation here has got to be flawless. Johnny, who's handling our business checking?
Taken care of, sir.
I've got investments, and I'm not dealing with just any old...
I've set up the accounts.
Okay, so the video quality is horrible. I know. Imagine that back in 2005, video conversion formats was not like it is today. There wasn't even YouTube back then. So anyways, I just wanted to give you an idea. I got paid over $100 for that, just providing a 30-second Donald Trump voice using this mic and this little plug-in and some cheap software that I got included with my sound card. That's how I got started in the business. Now, with that being said, if you have this kind of format, I do not suggest it. Or if you haven't gotten anything, do not get this set up. And I'll tell you why. I'll relate it to a smartphone with your earbuds plugging in. When you plug it into that port often enough, it gets a little loose, and the connection isn't good. Well, that's the same thing that happens here. Once this plug gets plugged in and out a couple of times, too many, you start to get really bad feedback, a buzzing and a humming, and you really don't want that. So if you haven't done this, I'd like to save you the step. Do not get this if you want to get started in voiceover. Let me show you what you should get. Okay, so what you need is some form of what's called a condenser microphone. Okay, now the microphone I'm using here right now is called a Sennheiser shotgun mic, and attached to it is what's called an icicle interface. It's a USB interface that plugs into the USB port of my computer. Now, this particular mic, I got it used off of Kijiji, which is kind of like Craigslist. If people don't know what Kijiji is, it's a used product forum where people buy and sell to each other. So I got this mic about 10, 12 years ago. Cost me $100. It also comes with a battery. So a battery, it runs power, and it's all about power with microphones. A little bit of battery with power you can't just plug it into your computer. You need an interface that can boost what's called phantom power, and it boosts your signals. So That's what this little icicle thing attached to the microphone is. That thing cost me about $70. And so really for about $200 or less, you can start recording. I've done demos on that mic. I've done lots of commercials. Really, I only use it now for just what we're doing now. I've got an AKG mic that I've paid $550 for. I'll show it to you, and an interface that costs more. But that's good because I've evolved and I've gotten in. I've needed better quality. But to get started, that's all you need, right? So don't go out and spend a whole bunch of money, because maybe if you're just starting out in voiceover, you think this is for you. But what if you discover that it's not? What if you discover that, hey, you know what, I tried and it's not really for me? Well, then you haven't gone out and spent a whole bunch of money on it. So I'm trying to save you some money here and some time. Really, what you need to look for is a condenser microphone and something with a USB connection and an interface. Okay? So here is what I call a Zoom mic. This is very portable. This is for off-site work. I've done this is really good for interviews, conversations. Actually, it's 4 channels, so you can actually 2 channel out the front and 2 out the back, so you can actually get a surround recording scenario. It works. It does its job when in a pinch when I've been out on the road. But you know what? In the studio, I haven't had a lot of success with it. This type of mic set me back about $250 8 years ago. Because I can put 2 AA batteries. I don't need any connection for it. But the actual feedback and noise, background noise, there is quite a bit of it with this product. So maybe somebody has had better success than I have with it. But this to go in studio is not something that I would really recommend. But if you're in a pinch and you're out somewhere and you need to record some things, even a music production or something like that, this is actually a nice little thing to have. Now, one thing I didn't mention was the pop filter here. Runs about $15 to $20. It takes away the puh in the voice to getting to the mic. So it's nice to have a pop filter. So that's essentially that's really all you need. I will show you what I use now. I've got an AKG C214. Yeah, when you spend over $500, you get this secret agent looking case. But this is what it looks like. It's got both sides, but you're speaking into this it's a 2 channel. And then you do get what's called a shock mount with it. And then a nice cover for it as well, so it can go over top, and it helps reduce a lot of the exterior noise as well. But you still, with something like this, you need an interface. And an interface, this here is a Scarlett product, Focusrite. It's got the phantom power, and there's lots more that can be covered with this. I'm not I've got other things that I use. I'm not going to show you today. Get confusing that because you don't really need it right now to start off in voiceover. We'll save that for another day. So really, yeah, microphones, you can go searching out there. You can find dozens of brand names and such, and a lot of people have their favorites. I'm just showing you what I use. So, hopefully this has helped you. And there you go. Please feel free to leave a comment below, or if you have a question, if I know the answer, I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. So that wraps up for today. Thank you very much for watching. Next video, we'll probably talk a little bit about where to look for voiceover work, okay? Because there's lots of options out there. So you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. I'm Rodney.